Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. Welcome back to my playthrough of LA Noire. We are continuing from where we left off. So let's continue for our next homicide case. Let's do it here. The Golden Butterfly.
Yep.
One thing I will say about this, though, is that parking lots, especially at night, are actually one of the most dangerous places that you actually can be. Parking lots are actually a place where you can be attacked and robbed. It's a very high likelihood, and the highest likelihood of you actually being robbed is if you actually pull up to a store that's late at night, like a Walmart, for example, and you park like away from the store, not close to the door, but you park away, maybe not that lighted of an area, and then you're gonna loading your groceries in your car. When you're loading your groceries in your car, that is the time when you are literally the most vulnerable. People don't know that. It's literally parking lots. People think that the places that you're most likely to get robbed are like a dark alley, like what people think of like in movies. But no, the place that you're actually the most likely to get robbed is in parking lots. The police in my town, what they actually did was they installed cameras in Walmart parking lots, and there's actually a really big sign. There's a really big yellow sign that says that this is, a police camera, and it's constantly recording. And that camera is there mostly as a deterrent. It's not even there really to capture criminals, though it can capture criminals on film. It's a deterrent. What a deterrent basically is, it's when criminals see something, because criminals scan their environments. They look at an environment, they see if somebody's by themselves, how many witnesses are there, is it an easy place to escape from, how much money could they possibly be carrying, stuff like that. Criminals analyze situations. There are a lot of criminals that think this out. There are dumb criminals also, but there are a lot of criminals that think situations out. When a criminal sees something like that, a big, yellow sign of a camera blinking, they're going to think twice about committing a crime there. But that's what I would say is make sure to always check the environment that you're in, and when you do not go to the store at night. That's the one thing I will say. I know I'm kind of a hypocrite because sometimes I run late to the store when I have to get something. I'm trying to cut it down, but that's the advice that I can give people is that if you got to go to the store, if you got to go to the store, it's an absolute emergency at night, then park as close as possible to the door, park into a well-lit area, and when you are actually getting into your car, when you're getting out of the store, look around the parking lot. See, is there any other cars? Is there anybody else hanging around? Because criminals will actually park in a parking lot, and they'll scan the area. They'll sit there at night, and they'll wait until somebody's getting into their car. So check your environment. Look around. Unfortunately, that girl made a mistake, is that she was not looking around to see if there's anybody else in the parking lot. That guy wasn't even running up to her. He just walked up to her, and she didn't even notice it. But anyways, let's continue with the case here.
Got it, Skipper. Yeah,
Skipper, by the way, means boss.
My partner, after all.
What have we got?
New case. White female dumped in plain sight in the grass at the end of Hill Street. Hacks are all over it. Captain's trying to fend them off.
That sounds awfully similar.
The first rule of police work is make no assumptions until you've seen the evidence. Skipper wants you to have your newspaper face on, college boy. I think I know the place where they found the lady. It overlooks Sunset Boulevard. Let's go.
Cop who solved the big case and got promoted.
Take this car because there's no radio when I'm... Whoa, okay. Yeah.
You did a decent job on the Henry case, Phelps. Not bad for your first time at bat.
Thanks, Rusty.
But don't go getting ahead of yourself. That's one clearance under your belt. Now it's a new day with a new dead lady that needs our attention.
And no assumptions until we see the evidence, right?
Right. See, I knew you were a fast learner, Phelps. We might get along after all.
Okay, this is above. Okay, here we go.
Now, boys, you know as much as I do. I'll be holding a press conference once the autopsy's been completed. I have two of my finest investigators on the case, fresh from bringing down the sword of justice on the crazed sex
Captain,
Alonzo
aren't there
Mendes.
similarities between this murder and the murder of Celine Henry and of Elizabeth Short, for that
So you don't
matter?
believe there's a crazed sex killer at large preying on women?
Boys, be sensible. We have the greatest police force in all the world, with the greatest scientific investigators at our disposal. How can any killer continue to be that? Be advised. We keep the gas chamber at San Quentin primed for the sons of Cain who continue to believe they can take a life in the City of Angels.
Yeah, right. Any new leads in the Dahlia case?
Run along, boys, and let these officers get to work. We have God's work to do here, and it can't be delayed.
Elizabeth Short also, I believe, is actually a real-life person. I think that she's the victim of the Black Dahlia killer, which is actually this guy here. The Black Dahlia killer was a real-life serial killer that was never caught in Los Angeles in this time period.
What do we have, Captain?
Another woman sacrificed. Speak to Carruthers. I want daily reports, gentlemen.
I might have to censor the body depending on how bad it is. I don't know how brutal the body is in this part.
Detective, I was first on scene.
You're a modest little person. There's much to be modest about.
You find her, Gonzalez?
Not me. Family out for a stroll. I was first reporting.
Can you show me the body?
It's under the pepper tree, this way.
All these people are vultures, officer. But you can tell me what's going on.
Make sure that my music is on too. Oh, it's actually off. Okay, good. I gotta...
Can't be much help to you, Phelps.
Here she is.
The stomping angle in the Henry case. Was it reported in the press?
Sure was. Every detail a copycat would want was there in the story.
Yeah, and this is why police should not, report stuff like that. Sometimes police will leave out specific parts of specific evidence that they found. They won't tell the media about it. It's actually a good idea, because then the killer or somebody who knows the killer would only know those specific details.
Well, we have a name. Can you run Deirdre Muller by RNI?
Back in a second.
Parent Teacher Association.
If the motive was robbery, why not take the money?
Exactly. Money wasn't taken.
Officer Gonzalez, badge 994.
Also, another thing I'll say, sometimes murders can actually be not for robbery reasons, but what might happen is the killer might actually make it look like a robbery. So you also have to keep that in mind. Yeah, Cole is just contaminating evidence right now. What? What do we got here?
Don't think this is anything.
Cigarette butt. Really could belong to anyone. Nah.
Incidental.
That bottle's gonna be, yeah.
What's this mark? Cut on the finger.
Fourth
Ring
finger,
was
left
taken.
hand, a wedding or engagement ring, violently removed.
Killer's taking it as a souvenir.
Looks like she was tied up.
Yep, see those
Does at
bruise
first,
marks?
But that would leave a mark on her other wrist, too. I think her watch might have been torn off.
That is a better point. The watch probably was torn off.
Look at your mark. It's very...
Distinctive.
Yeah,
I'll do some
strangulation.
comparisons back at the lab and get back to you.
She got stomped on.
Detectives, R&I says a Deirdre Mahler of 130 North Bonnie Bray was reported missing this morning by her husband, Hugo Mahler.
What'd I tell you? Let's grab the husband, take him downtown, and work him over. We could have this wrapped up by lunchtime.
What
Oh,
about not
God.
making assumptions and going on the evidence?
The thing about this is,
Similar MO.
To what? The Dahlia? I don't think so.
Celine Henry.
That's a closed case. This is probably another sad sack who lost his temper with a broad who wouldn't put out.
Are you a suspect, Rusty?
Watch your mouth, Phelps. All I'm saying is we got enough to do without reopening closed cases.
Talk me through it, Mal.
Severely battered, on display. Footprints would indicate that she has been stomped. Size of the footprints would seem to indicate a smallish men's shoe. What size shoe did Mendez wear?
You finished?
No, I'm not. At a glance, I would say strangulation was the cause of death. I'll need to do further tests for semen.
Angry boyfriend. If they were married, they'd be at home, not humping out here in Lover's Lane.
Rusty is a really bad detective. But what I will say is that when a wife is murdered, the first suspect the police actually look at is the husband. That actually is true. Husband is oftentimes the first suspect in that type of investigation. Also, one thing that I wish they would have covered also a little bit more here is that one of the when a spouse is murdered, the detectives look at the they look at the husband, but one other thing they check right away is they check insurance. Even back then, they checked insurance. That's life insurance, seeing who's the beneficiary. That's the person they start looking at. Okay, some music is playing, even though it wasn't supposed to play in this car. But I don't want to risk the copyright claim. But yeah. But here's the thing:
Still
is
might be some play in the boyfriend angle.
I thought we were on our way to lock up the husband.
If he doesn't work out, that is.
Deirdre Muller has suffered enough. More than enough. You shouldn't make disparaging comments about her without even the slightest inkling of what she was like.
She was a woman, wasn't she? No, around about my third divorce, I realized women might not be the pure angels we imagine. You're married, ain't you, Phelps?
Don't make any insinuations about my wife.
Hey, she's a woman.
She's the mother of my children.
You're a father, Cole? But don't tell me your eye don't bend.
This conversation is over.
All units, officer needs help. Bank of America 7th and on. Officer needs help. Bank of America 7th and on.
what I was trying to say earlier is that it's actually pretty easy to tell when a case is actually when somebody was actually killed over insurance, and how you actually tell is just see when the life insurance policy was taken out and on who. If a life insurance policy was taken out by somebody else, like if it was taken out by the person, the victim, it's less of a chance that it's a murder. But if it was actually taken out by somebody else on the victim, and not just that, the time frame that it happened in, if like the wife put out an insurance policy on the husband, and the husband ends up dead within a month of that insurance policy, or even like a week, is extremely suspicious. It's not always, it could just be a coincidence, but one thing you learn in law enforcement is you learn there's really no such thing as coincidences. So if that happens is somebody takes out a life insurance policy on somebody, and then the other person just happens to get murdered shortly afterwards, the chances of that person not being the killer are extremely low. The chances of them being the killer are extremely high. It could still happen, they could be innocent, but I'm just saying is the chances of them being innocent in a situation like that is very slim. Criminals think that the police are stupid. They think that police are not going to check they're not going to check insurance policy, but they very much are. Let me turn on music here now, in case we get clue music coming up. Sorry to keep doing this, guys. The copyright is annoying. Muller residence, 11:30 a.m. Okay.
Phelps and Galloway, LAPD. Is your father home?
He'll be home soon. He's been out looking for Mommy.
What's your name, miss?
Michelle Eloise Mahler?
Can we come in?
I suppose so.
Thank you. Could you have a seat for me, Michelle? We're gonna have a look.
Oh, come
around.
on. Don't smoke in front of the child. Come on. Seriously.
He'll be back in a moment. Just sit tight.
Here's one thing I will say about this. This is a very gray area right now, what Cole is doing. Back then, in 1947, this would have been, probably okay to do, but today, no. This is, and what I mean by a gray area is you can make the argument over whether this is, justified or not. But a good lawyer could probably throw this out. Basically, what I mean is that this girl it's a little girl who opened the door, let the cops in, and she said, I suppose so, it's okay. And the cops are just, Cole's basically like, I'm gonna go and take a look around the house. And so a good lawyer could basically say that that little girl didn't know anything about this. She didn't know that she had rights. She didn't know that she has the right to tell the police they can't search the property. The police pressured her. And so a good lawyer could, if Cole finds any incriminating evidence, a good lawyer could probably actually get this thrown out. So that's all I say is it's probably better to wait for the dad to come home, and before searching the house, don't do it when the child is here, because then, like I said, a scumbag lawyer that defends like a killer could basically say, oh, you know, the police, even if the police were in the right, even if the police found incriminating evidence, a lawyer that's defending the killer could literally say, oh, you know, the evidence that was found here was, not admissible because the child was pressured and the child didn't know, that they could deny the police coming in the house, basically. What is this? Let's see.
Nothing significant.
Okay. Oh, this is gonna be important. Let's see. What size shoe is this? 8.
Work boots. Size 8s.
Okay, hang on a second. Let's look at the, small men's footprints leading to body. Men's work boots, size 8. I hope I didn't miss a piece of evidence at the crime scene. The music stopped, so I think I got everything.
Elgin wristwatch. Probably the same one snatched from her body.
What is this?
No sign of a wedding ring.
Missing watch and rings. Okay, we found everything.
Is this about Mommy? Daddy is trying to find her. Please tell me she's okay.
I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Michelle, but your mother is dead.
Oh, no, he shouldn't have.
Do you think you could answer a few questions for us?
Could try.
Okay, I'm gonna say this right here this is bad right now because this girl is not going to this is a video game, but I'm gonna say is a little girl would be in no emotional state to be able to answer questions about her mother. If you just, you're a cop and you came to her house and you told her, I'm sorry to tell you this, your mother is dead, like, can you answer a few questions for me? Like, they are not going to be in an emotional state. They will be they will not be able to answer any questions. They will be really distressed. They won't be able to answer any questions. They'll be extremely upset. It probably would have been better for Cole to handle the situation a bit differently. He probably should have just told her, I can't tell you about this right now. We're, trying to help. Not necessarily say that we're looking for your mother, but we're trying to help. Can you answer a few questions? Can I talk to you about a few of these things? And then when the father comes home, probably tell the father that, I'm sorry to tell you this, your wife is dead. And then the father probably tells the daughter. It's probably better if the father was the one to tell the daughter that. Not a bunch of two random detective strangers that the child doesn't know, because pretty much they traumatized this child. They pretty much did. They came into the house without the dad waiting, without the dad being there. They kind of pushed their way into the house, because like I said, the little girl doesn't know that she has rights, that she can deny the police coming in the house. And they searched the house, really, without the father's permission. They went through the house. So there's a lot of mistakes that have been made here. But also, I will say is, to play devil's advocate here, is sometimes, even though the procedure that they're following here is not good, it's not a good idea to do it this way, sometimes it actually is good to talk to a child by themselves when the police are there. The reason is because if an adult is present, if the father or the mother, the parent, legal guardian, whoever else is there, if they are in the presence of the child when the child is actually talking to the police, the child may actually not say certain things when the legal guardian is there. So they might not say certain things that could possibly incriminate the legal guardians, things that are true, but they're basically scared or they're pressured by their parents. Their parents might say, oh, don't talk about this, don't say something like this. But if the parents aren't around, the child might be more inclined to talk about something like, for example, abuse, a situation like that. A child might be actually scared to tell, even if the child is next to like an abusive parent, like sitting on the couch right next to them, even if the two detectives are in front of them, the child may be scared to actually tell the police that they're being abused. So they are not following the proper procedure here, doing this whole investigation right now. But I would say sometimes it also is good to talk to a child by themselves, because a child will tell you certain things that that they will not say when their guardian is present. But anyways, let's see here. Okay, she's visibly upset. Age 15, daughter of murder victim. Last contact with victim. Let's see here.
When did you last see your mother?
Yesterday afternoon. I went to a dance at Belmont High. Mommy was supposed to pick me up, but she didn't show.
So what did you do then?
I was upset. Daddy came instead.
What did you do instead? I went to a dance at Belmont High. Mommy was supposed to pick me up, but she didn't show. So what did you do then? I was upset. Daddy came instead. I'm gonna go with truth. But basically, I'll show you guys some funny things. In this one, if you actually end up accusing her, some of the reactions are actually kind of funny. I remember this. Let me show you this.
You're feeling guilty about this, Michelle. What were you up to that you missed your mother?
You're crazy. I was waiting out front exactly where she asked me to be. Ask my teacher if it isn't so.
So, if you actually notice, Cole, look at Cole's, the actor who plays Cole. Just look at his facial reactions, like he's smiling when he's asking those questions because they're so stupid. Like, accusing the little girl of being part of this. It's just, he's like trying not to laugh.
Looks like I was mistaken.
Looks like I was mistaken. Okay, I'm gonna go with, good cop. Hopefully I'm right on this. I don't think she's hiding anything.
And did he come and get
damn.
you?
Of course. Some boys offered me a ride home, but that's not the right thing to do.
So you were hanging around the school for quite a while. What happened with your father?
I don't know. I called and finally he answered. He came straight away then.
Okay, So I guess she was the right answer was doubt, bad cop. She was holding back some information there. I didn't want to go bad cop on her because, like I said, it's a little girl. She's upset over her mother's death. Missing watch and rings. Let's see here.
Some of your mother's jewelry was missing. Can you describe her things?
Ring, a watch. I never paid much attention to that stuff.
This accusation is pretty funny too. Listen to this one. Something bugs you about your mother's jewelry. This one.
Why don't you
Look at
tell
his
the
face.
truth, Michelle?
Look at his face.
Something really bugs you about your mother's jewelry.
You really are horrible, you know that? What makes you think that?
Something really bugs you about your mother's jewelry. And he's like, Cole's trying not to laugh like the actor when he was recording these things. He was trying not to laugh.
My mistake.
When he was, okay, I'll go with truth, good cop. Let's see. Hopefully I don't.
I know it's painful, Michelle, but this may be important. She wore a wedding ring?
Mommy chose it herself. A rose gold wedding band and a matching diamond and ruby engagement ring.
She wore a watch?
Yes, a yellow gold Elgin watch. Daddy bought it for her birthday. They had a fight. It was kind of a makeup present.
State of parents' marriage.
Your mom and dad are happily married?
What are you saying? Of course they are.
Yep, that's a lie right there. I can tell she's not telling the truth. But let me see accuse.
I think your father was violent with your mother. I think they weren't very happy, and you should tell me, young lady.
You may be the police, but you have no right to talk about my mom and dad like that.
Okay.
It's nothing personal. I'm just doing my job. You understand that?
Okay, let's do bad cop here. I think she's holding back. I don't think that it's accused, because I don't think, unless I get evidence in the first, one, there's really no proof that they're in an abusive relationship. But the way she was looking around, she's like, what are you talking about? Of course they are. And then she's like this. Like, it's like when people do that, it's like they just look away, like look to the floor and stuff like that. They're lying to you. That is a clear case that they're lying because they're trying to imagine a situation that is not real. I'm going to try bad cop. Hopefully I get this right.
They weren't happy, were they?
It was right.
Michelle? Did
Got
your
it.
father ever hit your mother?
Just the once. She said she would leave him if he ever did it again. He bought her a brooch pin to make up for it. Mommy always wore her golden butterfly.
Thanks, Miss Muller. You've been very brave.
Oh, here's the dad.
Hey, what gives?
Daddy, the police
Go to your
are
room,
here.
please, Michelle. I'll talk to the police.
Daddy, Mommy is gone.
Go to your room, young lady. She's not even out of school. You can't come in here interrogating her like she's
Your
some
wife
kind
was
of...
found murdered this morning.
Found?
Okay, yeah, so literally, I agree with the dad in this case. I don't know, I'm not talking about the abuse or anything like that, but I'm just saying is the reaction that he gave is the dad's basically like, you just can't come into my house and just, interrogate my daughter and talk to my daughter. So I kind of do agree with the dad. I understand his perspective here, I understand why he's pissed off. Is, imagine, a horrible situation like that is like, your wife or family member, like, killed and killed so brutally, and then, like, a bunch of cops just show up to the house, like, when your child is home, and then they tell your child, oh, your mother was found dead, stuff like that. I think that a lot of parents would be really pissed off in that situation. So I said Cole didn't handle this well. I think he should have probably waited for the dad to come home, and he probably should have told the dad. He probably could have talked to the girl, but probably should not have barged his way into the house. Probably talked to her near the door, and then just didn't tell the girl specifically that her mother was dead. And then when the dad comes home, tell him, and so the dad can tell, because it sounds a lot better when it comes from the dad than it comes from the detective. It's like hearing your mother is killed by a stranger telling you that. That's gonna be bad.
What? But she only...
We have some questions that we would like to ask you.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I'll do my best.
Okay. Footprints at crime scene. Hugo Muller, 46. Let's see. How is he?
Please, if that's all, please just leave.
Okay. He's looking. Look at how he's looking on the floor right now. Like the way he's looking at that. Do you know what that tells me? That tells me he's in shock. When people are
Please,
like
if
this.
that's all, please just leave.
When people do this, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily lying, but like when they're like zoning out like that, it means that they're in shock. It means they're trying to process what basically happened right now. Footprints at crime
What
scene.
size shoe do you wear, Mr. Mueller?
Why do you ask?
It's routine, sir. Simple process of elimination.
9s, I think.
Why
No.
are you lying to me, Mr. Mueller?
Why would I lie to you at a time like this?
Size 8 work boots. He's lying. The facial reactions are one of the best parts of this game. I think they're probably the best part. He's hiding something.
Please, if that's all, please just leave.
That's funny. The work boots we found here are size 8s. Why lie about it if you've got nothing to hide?
Because I always get teased about the size of my feet. You know, small feet, small...
Always been true in my experience.
Alibi for Hugo Mueller. Let's see here.
So you were here all night. You stayed in while your wife went out to pick up your daughter?
Yes, that's correct.
No answer on the night of the murder.
You should come clean if you're having an affair, or if there's something going on.
I told you I was here. Were you saying I wasn't?
Husband's alibi. The Michelle Mueller reports calling home repeatedly with no answer on night of the murder.
So why did you take so long to answer the phone when your daughter called?
Okay, I went out for a while. I was driving around. It's my way of relaxing.
Missing persons report. Okay, we're doing good so far.
You phoned in a missing persons report this morning?
Yeah, that's right. My wife didn't come home last night. She left around 9:30. Michelle was out at dance. She called me to let me know that Deidre didn't turn up.
You phoned in a missing persons report this morning? Yeah, that's right. My wife didn't come home last night. She left around 9:30. Michelle was at a dance. She called me to let me know that Deidre didn't turn up. This is a tough one. This is definitely not accused. It's definitely not accused. It's either good cop or bad cop here. This is a tough one. Is he lying?
That's it? There's got to be more.
Hang on. Can I want to see if I can, oh, I got an intuition score. Okay, hang on. Let me see, because I want to ask him the question again and see his reaction.
You phoned in a missing persons report this morning?
Yeah, that's right. My wife didn't come home last night. She left around 9:30. Michelle was out at dance. She called me to let me know that Deidre didn't turn up.
It's a little tough, this one. I think it's truth. I think it is. I think it's good cop. I think it is. And here's the thing: is some people might think he's lying because he hesitated on the time. He's like, she left around 9:30, but that's actually a pretty realistic reaction because you're still having time to process this. That like your wife was killed, and you're trying to think about everything. You know, you're not gonna remember key details like that. Like you're not gonna remember key things like exactly the time that somebody left, stuff like that. So I think that it's truth. Let me use intuition. Let's just see here. Let's ask the community. Let's just see here. Bad cop. That's what people are going with. Okay. It's definitely not accused, like I said. This is a tough one. This is the toughest question so far. Okay, let's try bad cop.
Did your wife ever go out by herself? To bars, nightclubs?
No. What are you suggesting? You suggesting my wife's loose? Now is not the time for you to be pushing me, mister.
Your daughter said you were having an argument.
We argued about who would pick up Michelle. I worked a full day. I wanted to come home, put my feet up.
Movement's a victim. Let's see here.
Your wife went to pick up Michelle?
Yes, that's right.
I don't like that reaction. I don't. Ooh. This is a tough one. This is tough one. Let's just see what accuses.
I think you went with her, but you didn't go to the school. What really happened, Mueller?
You're making this stuff up, and I'll dare anyone to prove any different.
You're off the hook, for now.
Okay, hold on a second.
That's it? There's got to be more.
I want to look at his reaction one more time here.
Your wife went to pick up Michelle?
Yes, that's right.
I think he's holding back something. I think he's holding back on something. Yeah, I'm like this. The gulp he took, the stare.
What happened, Hugo? You got any theories? Because we're starting to like you for this.
The car park by the school is kind of dark. Maybe somebody jumped her there. Did you try the parking lot?
Okay. I got that one wrong. That sucks. History of violence. Let's see here.
Your wife was beaten and then strangled. In your case, you have no alibi and a history of violence towards your wife.
That's not true, god damn it.
Yes, this the brooch. Okay.
It is true, Hugo. You're a violent man. You try to keep a lid on it at home, but sometimes you lost control. Your daughter and your wife were scared of you.
You don't know anything about me.
So this is exactly what I'm talking about, is that sometimes it's better to talk to the child by themselves when the parent isn't there, because a situation just like this is, I don't believe that child would have said that the dad hurt the mom, that he abused her. I don't think she would have said that the dad was present. Butterfly brooch purchased for Deirdre Mueller after domestic violence incident. Okay.
I know about the golden butterfly, Hugo, and how you bought your wife off the last time you heard her.
She liked to spend money, all right? Dresses, jewelry, her hair. It drove me goddamn crazy. Do I look like a Rockefeller?
Nobody likes a cheapskate, Hugo.
Getting hostile with us is a very bad idea, Hugo.
I'm no murderer.
Make some arrangements for your daughter, and then present yourself to Central Station for questioning.
You gotta be kidding me, Phelps. Put the cuffs on it.
This is an outrage. I didn't kill my wife.
Your daughter is in the next room, Mueller, so I'm giving you a break. Don't make me change my mind, and don't make me come looking for you.
We should go back in there and bust his ass.
1, we need to break his alibi. Check phone records, canvass the neighbors. 2, we have motive of domestic violence, which probably goes for half the men in LA. 3, we have no evidence tying him to the crime scene.
Hello, detective.
Question a neighbor. Whoa, just wait for us to cross the street. Okay. We're allowed to jaywalk. We're the police.
Yes, ma'am.
I heard the terrible news over the radio.
And you can help us with our inquiries?
Yes, sir. They had a row last night. I heard Mrs. Mueller screaming.
Did you see Mrs. Mueller come home late last night at all?
No, not at all. I did see Mr. Mueller put something in the incinerator earlier this morning, though.
I told you he was our guy. Now let's get this bum downtown and into a cell.
Look, There he is now.
I recognize that
He's
guy
burning
from the
something.
paper.
Step away from the incinerator. Don't let him get away.
Okay, but no shooting. We need this guy to make the case.
Oh. Okay, got him. What was he trying to burn? Oh, this is looking really bad for him right now.
This doesn't look good, Hugo.
I can explain the blood.
Get him booked in at Central, officer. Then put him in an interview room. We'll be speaking with him later. And inform the captain.
This is looking really bad for you, buddy.
Is there someone you can call, miss?
I don't want home, and
You need somewhere to stay, Michelle. You have other family? Grandparents? Aunts or uncles?
call Aunt Helen, but she lives in Bakersfield, and
Call her. We're gonna get someone down here from Juvenile Hall to talk to you in the meantime.
We ought to get some uniforms down here, clean up, take care of the kid.
Okay, I want to check this backyard here. But I can't imagine how traumatizing this is for I can't imagine how traumatizing this must be for this little girl right now. That her mother was murdered and her father is just being arrested for it too. This is just horrible. And this happens in real life too, is that one parent is murdered, the other parent is arrested. You can't imagine the amount of emotional damage that would do to a child.
Operator, message for KGPL.
Putting you through now.
Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
I need an address on a Belmont High School.
Checking for you, Detective. Belmont High, 1575 West 2nd Street.
Thanks.
Okay.
Galloway, Homicide Division, badge number 564.
Go ahead, Detective Unit.
Can we get Ray Pinker and a technical services team to a house at 130 North Bonnie Bray Street? And send someone down from Juvenile Hall to look after a young lady.
Roger, 11K. Inform Detective Phelps that the coroner has a report waiting at the police morgue downtown when he's available.
Got it, KGPL.
Okay. We got a bunch of places we gotta visit now. Okay. Okay, Belmont High School. Let's go to the high school.
I'm surprised, you know. I didn't make the husband for it.
Always make the husband, Phelps. 9 times out of 10, it's the closest person to the Vic who does the deed. God knows I've wanted to kill some wives in my day.
Lex parsimoniae.
What?
The law of parsimony. Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is most likely the correct one.
You know, you could have said that without getting all liturgical on me.
I'll try to dumb things down from now on.
Appreciate it. And try this one on for size. Rusty's razor.
How's that go?
You blame the guy that's banging her.
Ah, of course. The famous Lex ignoramus.
Closes cases, Cole. Puts a lot of people away, that one.
Also, what Rusty is saying is somewhat true. Is that in spousal killings, it's most of the time it is the other spouse that killed the spouse.
11K to KGPL.
But I don't think
We'll
it's
take
9 out of 10.
288. Go ahead with the further.
I don't think that it's that high. Belmont High School.
unveiling, Emmy. It's the first season since Fabergrashing's over. We have to go.
I told you I can't Saturday. I'm busy.
Busy where? You're going on another drive.
Who the hell
with
is this
Lady
guy?
Gardner, aren't you? So what if I am?
Go, Phelps. I'll take the car and see if I can cut him off.
It's not good for the police to use their gun when the suspect isn't armed. Back then, it was a lot more acceptable, but today, if a suspect is running, the police actually can draw their gun if a suspect is running. The only time the police could draw their gun if a suspect is running if the suspect is still armed. That's why. That's when. But okay. Got the creep. Okay.
Car 11K, car 11 King, come in.
11K, go ahead.
11K, see the janitor. A green 1946 coupe registered to a Mrs. Hugo Moeller has been found in the parking lot adjoining the Belmont High School and playing fields. 11K, code 2.
What's your name?
Who's asking?
We can do this the easy way or the hard way.
Name's Eli Rooney.
You've been in trouble with the law before, Eli?
Some.
What are you doing around here?
I like to keep an eye on the children.
Strictly paternal, is it, Eli?
Don't sass me, boy.
A woman was abducted here last night, Eli, and murdered.
And I would love to make you for that, you oaky motherfucker.
Well, I wouldn't know nothing about that. A woman, you say? I like 'em a little younger than that.
Turn out your pockets, Eli.
Now, why would I do that?
Because I'm about to break your fucking skull, Eli.
You're under arrest, Eli. You're in very deep trouble.
This is the brooch. Yep.
Get some backup down here, Rusty. We need to get this one downtown and into a cell.
I'll tell them we got a kitty.
We got 2 suspects right now. This case is getting messy.
What time did you see the person park the car?
Late last night, after school social, maybe 1 a.m. I've been keeping a good eye out lately. We've had problems with the child molester.
Eli Rooney. We've met him.
Filthy son of a bitch. He was here yesterday before the dance.
Was it him you saw park the car?
I don't know, sir. I'd like to say yes, but the truth is it was pretty dark.
Would you say Rooney is violent?
Yes, sir. I would say so, yes.
Thanks for your help.
There's some stuff to investigate here. Ooh.
Blood and skin samples. We better get
No,
Ray Pinker
Cole.
out
No,
here.
you're getting you're contaminating the evidence. No. And here we got the weapon that knocked her out. Iron.
Important.
Her clothes too.
The overalls are stenciled HM. Muller is a mechanic. I wonder what Eli does for a living.
Oh no, these aren't her clothes, but. Okay, let's call Central then.
Cole Phelps, badge 1247.
How can I help, Detective?
I need interrogation set up at Central for both suspects being held in the Mahler homicide case.
Certainly, Detective. I'll get in touch touch with the watch commander.
Thanks for your help.
Okay, what happened? The car broke down? Looks like we're gonna need to commandeer a vehicle then. Okay, let's go to the morgue.
I say we make Rooney for this. I think we should lay it on him. He was near the car, he had her jewelry, the DA will love him for it.
Even if he didn't do it?
Who cares whether he did it? You have kids, Phelps? He needs to be...
I don't know if this music is copyrighted or not, so I'm just,
taken permanently out of harm's way.
And we let Mueller slide?
For a while. He gets a free pass for now.
The thing about this situation...
I don't know about this. My gut says Mueller. We caught him trying to destroy evidence in his backyard, and that was his car with the bloody tools in it.
I never said it wasn't Mueller. Hell, he probably killed his wife, deprived that poor kid of a mother. But he's not an immediate danger to anyone else. Rooney's a threat to every kid at Belmont.
He's a peeper, Rusty. We can pick him up for something else.
You really want to run that risk?
So, we got two suspects, both with really incriminating evidence on them.
Watch when you're driving, you maniac!
Oh, sorry about that. The police department will refund you for that. Okay, what I was trying to say here is that we got two suspects that both have our really incriminating evidence against them. Got the husband trying to burn shoes, bloody shoes, trying to destroy evidence. And then we got this, you know, pervert, this child molester, you know, stalking kids and, with the pin that the victim had. He probably looted it from the parking lot because it was probably knocked to the ground when she got hit. That's probably what ended up happening. The husband is looking more suspicious. The pervert definitely needs to be arrested, but the husband to me is just looking more suspicious in the murder. Let's see what the coroner has to say here.
Phelps, Rusty, thanks for coming.
Can you blood type the shoes that we bagged and see if they're a match?
Sure. It'll all be in the report, but I'm assuming you want the details now?
Please. Cause of death is strangulation?
Correct. Take a look at the samples on the bench.
This is it.
What are the normal uses for that kind of rope?
On boats, mooring lines.
Correct. Although Ray says that they're sometimes used as bell ropes in churches.
Yeah.
So are we looking for a sailor or a minister?
Well, in my experience, sailors seem to have the greater libido.
Was Mrs. Muller criminally attacked?
No external or internal traces of semen.
Thanks, Mal. Anything else comes up, you let us know. The shoe prints?
Size 8s. Very similar to the impressions from the Henry case.
Now, who do we remember got caught in bloody size 8s? I think we have our bird.
We've got to nail this guy.
Okay, if you're finished jawing, we need to get moving.
Okay. And also, that is realistic. Police do, like, cast imprints, like, on stuff like shoe prints, so they'll be able to, like, recreate it. And also, strangulation is one of the worst ways to go. Oh, let me mute the music here. Strangulation is one of the most brutal ways to die. People think that it's not as brutal because there's not oftentimes a lot of blood involved in it. It depends on how brutal the strangulation can be. But just the strangulation, it's because
Not exactly the happiest of places, the coroner's office.
Carruthers is a good man, professional, diligent. If you're working with a pro, it's easy to overlook the grim realities of a place like that.
Funny job, that, the coroner's.
How so?
You know, you don't want them enjoying their work too much. The wrong kind of man can get awfully lonely rattling around a joint full of corpses.
Rusty, that's like something out of the pulps.
You been reading the same ones as me?
I thought you were usually too drunk to get through a magazine.
You know, if I close one eye and squint, you can just about make out the print.
Yeah, so I was saying about, what I was saying about strangulation is it just takes so long for a person to die. It depends on the strength of the killer, too, but it just takes so long. It's not like the movies or the games where somebody gets, like, strangled in a couple seconds, like it's in Hitman, like, where he comes up behind them and he just strangles them in, like, a couple seconds. Nothing like that whatsoever. This is gonna take minutes for something like that to happen, and it requires somebody to be strong, but it also is the person that does the strangulation is a really sick person. Like, when you're dealing with killers, you're dealing with all kinds of sick people, but specifically somebody who strangles somebody else, especially if it's done with their hands, it shows you the type of person that you're dealing with. You're dealing with an extremely disturbed person. And what Rusty was saying also about the coroner is, the coroner's behavior is actually pretty realistic. That is actually how a lot of people act in that field. And the thing is, though, is people oftentimes think that like homicide detectives, or they think that like coroners are like really bad people because the fact that they don't show much reaction when they see like dead people. They don't show much reaction. But the thing is, though, is you have to understand their perspective as well. They work in that environment. They see dead bodies every single day. They get used to it. So it's not something you want to get used to, but they get used to it. And so that's what a lot of people think detectives are like cold people because like they don't show reaction when they see a dead body, but they see it every day to deal with it. But just because they don't show that much of a reaction to it doesn't mean that they don't care. Like, if anybody knows Lieutenant Joe Kenda, he's a famous Colorado Springs detective. He solved like over 100 homicides. He was like that. He had that type of attitude. He's very, you know, when he was at a crime scene, it's like kind of like a lot of people would interpret it as cold, kind of not caring, but he very much cares. He just doesn't show that much emotion on seeing the bodies. But he very much cares about stopping the killer. He very much cares about bringing the killer to justice and getting justice for the victim. So it's just that he's just so used to it. He sees like dead bodies all the time, and so you know, a person gets used to that. That's just how it is. And it's and this just goes to show you that not everybody can also be police officers. Because to be especially a police officer that deals with seeing dead people, you have to have the stomach for it. And so if somebody's like freaking out on that, you know, constantly, they probably should not be a police officer. So you have to have the stomach to deal with situations like that.
We'll work the evidence, Rusty.
Even if you're a street cop, you might be the first person to find a dead body. Even if you're a street cop, just a regular patrol cop. So even regular patrol cops need to be prepared to deal with something like that.
Bowlers in 2 and the perverts in 1. Get in there and get a conviction.
Boy.
Captain, we were on our way to interview Eli Rooney.
Yes, Phelps, I know. This particular fiend is an old acquaintance. I have tried to reaffirm his belief in a wrathful and terrible God. Whichever way it goes, I'll be dealing personally
Okay, let me see here. What did... Okay, let me see here. Log. Mueller is in 2 and the pervert is in 1. Okay. Mueller is in 2 and the pervert is in 1. Okay. I'm gonna interview the husband first. I don't know if there's a particular order that you're supposed to interview them.
I didn't want to arrest the kid, so I gave him a dusting he wouldn't forget.
Here's where we stand, Hugo. Your next-door neighbor heard screaming coming from your house. You were burning your blood-stained shoes. You have no one who can confirm your whereabouts last night. Your daughter says you're a violent man. We have everything we need to send you to death row, and all you have to say for yourself is, I didn't do it.
I swear I didn't kill her. Give me that lie test. I can prove it.
Polygraph test. Disposable evidence.
Why did you burn your shoes, Hugo?
Because I knew you'd never believe me.
Let's go with good cop. That seems like a genuine reaction.
Believe what?
It's rabbit's blood. A guy at work brought him in and I helped him skin them.
So there we go. So we answered the question on the blood. Access to braided rope. Let's see here.
Do you know anything about ropes, Hugo?
As much as the next man. I was a scout. I learned some more in the Army.
This is Hugo's overalls. Okay. Some of these questions are getting a bit difficult. I want to see his reaction one more time.
So I'm free to leave. You believe my story?
I want to see that reaction one more time.
Do you know anything about ropes, Hugo?
As much as the next man. I was a scout. I learned some more in the Army.
He's not keeping direct eye contact. I don't like that. Try bad cop.
You learned to strangle with the rope in the Army?
With rope, with my bare hands, but mainly with wire. I learned a lot of things in the Army, but I still didn't kill my wife.
For argument's sake, what type of rope would you use?
If I had to, I would use a triple braid. Less flex, easier to control.
Access to tire iron.
Your wife was beaten with a tire iron, Hugo. An appropriate choice of tool for a mechanic.
I know nothing about any tire iron.
You're lying, Hugo. You're gonna have to come clean on this.
You got no proof.
I'm gonna say the overalls because it shows that he works in some kind of mechanic, so he's probably gonna have access to a tire iron. So I'm gonna go with overalls. I hope it's either overalls or bloody tire iron. It's one of those. I hope I'm right on overalls. I hope I don't mess this up.
I want to.
Damn!
I'm not answering any more questions unless I get an attorney.
Damn. Okay. It's I'm gonna try that one more time, guys. I'm sorry. I don't want to like back out and stuff like this, but this is just one thing I'll say. This is one thing that pisses me off about the about sometimes is like they just want you to choose that specific piece of evidence, because if I showed him the tire iron, I was thinking that he could basically say like, oh, you know, you can't prove that tire iron is mine and stuff like that. But with the overalls, I can prove that he works as some kind of mechanic, some kind of, you know, some overalls are basically, you know, mechanics typically wear that, you know, people that fix stuff. So I was gonna basically say like, you have overalls, you know, with your name on them. That's what I was gonna basically point to, but it didn't work. It's tire iron technically there. So I'm sorry to restart this here. I didn't want to do that. But yeah, that's basically okay. Let me try this here one more time here. Then again, access to tire iron.
Your wife was beaten with a tire iron, Hugo. An appropriate choice of tool for a mechanic.
I know nothing about any tire iron.
You're lying, Hugo. You're gonna have to come clean on this.
You got no proof.
So I guess it's the bloody tire iron in this part. Let's see.
Your wife drove a Chevrolet,
Yup, it
Hugo.
is.
What make of car do you drive?
A Chrysler Airflow.
So I guess that explains why the tire iron that killed your wife came from a Chrysler.
So it was the tire iron, but you guys gotta understand why I chose the overalls. I chose the overalls because he could deny that the tire iron is his. He's like, there's no proof that's my tire iron. So like the overalls instead prove that he's some kind of mechanic, that he works with tools. So I thought the overalls were better, you know, proof of that.
We found your wife's car. Someone parked it at the school late last night. Do you have anything to say about that?
It wasn't me.
Where do you keep your work clothes?
I keep them at work in my locker.
Enough lies, Hugo. Your overalls put you at the scene of the crime last night.
My overalls are in the laundry of my house.
Overalls. Green work overalls stained with blood, stenciled with initials HM.
Green overalls, blood-stained, with the initials HM, found in the trunk of your wife's car.
They can't be mine.
Why, Hugo? Because if they were yours, they'd be in the incinerator too?
Charge suspect or leave interrogation. So we get the choice here. Leave. Let's talk to the creepy child molester now. Anyways, does the coroner get back to you in this case? Because the coroner can prove that that was rabbit blood. That will pretty much put him in the clear. Oh, okay.
Captain, we were on our way to interview Eli Rooney.
Yes, Phelps, I know. This particular fiend is an old acquaintance. I have tried to reaffirm his belief in a wrathful and terrible God. Whichever way it goes, I'll be dealing personally with him.
You look like you've had it rough.
You see me asking for your sympathy, boy?
So you see that he got beat up either in prison, by other inmates or jail, I should say.
14 years in and out of prison, son. You think you can outweight me? You're wrong.
He got beaten up by other inmates, and it's possible also the cops beat him up too because he's a child molester. Now here's what I'll say is there is a universal code pretty much all around the world, and it doesn't matter if it's in, you know, Europe, if the prison's in Europe, North America, Africa, South America, Asia. There's a universal code across prisons all around the world that child molesters are the worst. And when inmates actually find out, other prisoners actually find out that there's a child molester, they will actually all jump him and possibly kill him. So child molesters don't last in prison. They are going to be killed pretty quickly or severely injured really quickly. And I don't want to sound like a psychopath when I say this, but I don't feel bad for child molesters getting jumped and attacked in prison. I'm not saying that it's right to jump anybody, but I'm just saying is I don't feel bad for child molesters, because child molesters for me are some of the worst human beings ever. I think that if somebody touches a child, I think it should be life in prison. I don't think they should ever get out.
Son, you think
Place
you
of
can outweigh
employment.
me? You're wrong.
Okay. And I remember this guy was really frustrating to interview when I was a kid. I remember that. I messed up his interrogation when I was a kid, so hopefully I can get this right now.
You're down on your luck, Eli.
I've had worse. My family ate roadkill during the Dust Bowl.
But you have a job. A parolee has to have a job, correct?
I had me a job down in San Pedro. I'm looking for something new.
Okay, what I will say is the Dust Bowl was a real-life event. It actually happened in the 1930s, and the Dust Bowl was basically a series of dust storms that affected southern U.S. and also affected parts of the Midwest. And the Dust Bowl just destroyed farmland. And that's actually why there was food shortages during the Great Depression. It wasn't just because the economy was crap, but it's also because the Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl affected a lot of food production, destroyed a lot of farms. I think the main character in The Wizard of Oz, that girl, I think that she grows up on a farm that was affected by the Dust Bowl. And the Dust Bowl also happened at the worst possible time during the Great Depression. It was absolutely terrible. Something like that could still probably happen again in the future, but it's been a long time since we've had, storms just like that. But let me actually look up where the Dust Bowl happened.
14 years in and out of prison, son. You think you can outweight me?
Here.
You're wrong.
Where did the Dust Bowl happen? Okay, I have a map here. It happened in northern Texas, northeastern New Mexico, eastern Colorado, northwestern Oklahoma, pretty much most of Kansas, and it took place in southern Nebraska, so parts of the Midwest and the South. Okay, let me actually look at what he said here again, because I want to look at his reaction.
14 years in and out of prison, son. You think you can outweight me? You're wrong.
You're down on your luck, Eli.
I've had worse. My family ate roadkill during the Dust Bowl.
But you have a job. A parolee has to have a job, correct?
I had me a job down in San Pedro. I'm looking for something new.
Yeah, I don't like that reaction. He's not being specific. Bad cop.
This place you worked have a name?
Hennessy Marine. You can't miss the place. Big yellow letters, HM out front.
They give you any workwear, Eli?
Sure. Green coverall. Dang thing was hot. Felt like I was back in the pen wearing it.
Wait a second. This place you work have a name, Hennessy Marine. You can't miss the place. Big yellow letters, HM out in front. They give you any workwear. Sure, green coverall. Dang thing was hot. Felt like I was back in the pen wearing it. So, those overalls could actually be his. They might not even be Hugo's. So, Hugo Moeller or Hennessy Marine. So, literally, now this case is getting really messy. Access to braided rope. Let's see here.
You ever tie up any of your victims, Eli?
It's not a nice thing to go calling them.
What would you call them?
I can't say. I learned a long time ago not to go talking about the things I like. Talking about it just seems to get people's dander up.
Answer the goddamn question, Rooney, before I brain you.
See what I mean? Short answer is yes.
You have any preference regarding rope, Eli?
I know a good rope from a bad rope, if that's what you mean. That's not what you mean, is it? Any old rope will do me fine.
Oh, it's hard. His interrogation is hard. Let's do motive for Mueller murder.
You killed Mrs. Mueller and stole her jewelry.
That ain't so. I ain't done nothing like that.
Butterfly brooch purchased for Deirdre Mueller after domestic violence incident. We don't have direct proof that he stole it. He had it on him. Right, bad cop.
You have no job and nowhere to live by the smell of things, and you need money. You've been in trouble before, Eli. Who do you think a jury will believe?
I've been in trouble for other things, but I ain't never killed no one. I saw that car coming to the parking lot late last night. Man got changed there and then put his coveralls in the trunk. I saw him drop the butterfly in the lamplight, and he strolled out, cool as you like. And I went over and I picked it up.
So, he's claiming that he saw somebody pull up and put those coveralls into the car. Let me do footprints at crime scene or access to braided rope. Let's try that again.
You ever
here.
tie up any of your victims, Eli?
It's not a nice thing to go calling them.
What would you call them?
I can't say. I learned a long time ago not to go talking about the things I like. Talking about it just seems to get people's dander up.
Answer the goddamn question, Rooney, before I brain you.
See what I mean? Short answer is yes.
You have any preference regarding rope, Eli?
I know a good rope from a bad rope, if that's what you mean. That's not what you mean, is it? Any old rope will do me fine.
There's no proof that it's his rope, though. What is the lie? Let's see accused. What is the accused?
You're lying, Eli. You're a creature of habit. You just get out of jail and you're back to your old ways. You use a specific type of rope.
That may be the case. But you got nothing that says I used a rope to hurt that woman.
Yeah, we don't. He's right.
Sorry. Sometimes you have to shake the tree to see what falls out.
Try good cop. Let's see.
Farm boy like you, Eli, must
Okay.
prefer McGay for roping. Am I right?
I prefer braid. Tie hitching braid. It stays tied.
Footprints at crime scene.
What size boot do you wear, Eli?
Kind of like anything I can get my hands on. I'm wearing 11s.
Anything I can get my hands on. Let me go with bad cop. I just don't like that answer that he gave. Or maybe let's just see what accused is.
Deirdre Muller was strangled and then someone did a dance on her torso. Someone with a lot of anger. Someone with a lot of hate in them. Someone wearing size 8s, Eli.
You got some reason other than you don't like me while you're trying to hang this thing on me?
You're off the hook. For now.
Let's try doubt.
You're maybe 5'5", 5'6", tops. And you wear size 11s? I don't think so, Eli.
That might be on the large side. Maybe 10s.
Maybe 8s.
Now that I come to think of it.
Why punish children with your iniquity, Eli?
You think I was never punished?
You must know what you're doing is evil.
Well, son, nobody's perfect.
Ooh. Who am I, charging? Let me just think right now. I gotta think on my head right now. This guy was caught with the jewelry. He had the jewelry on him. He had the jewelry on him, but the brooch. He claims that he saw somebody pull up, put green overalls in the trunk of the car. He has the same size footprints as the killer, but Hugo does as well. He wore green coveralls for his job at the marina, but okay. Tennessee Marine. And he wore green coveralls. That's the evidence that's against him. The husband, on the other hand, the husband has the same shoe footprints. He tried to burn shoes, you know, size 8 shoes, but he was pretty genuine in sounding that it was like the rabbit. But then we have the green coveralls too. There's evidence against both of them, really. I'm gonna get rid of this guy here. I'm gonna charge him. I think he's the one that you're supposed to charge, because even though you have a choice, there's one of them that you're supposed to charge here. It explained later on. You will actually find out. Who's the killer, which one of them. But there actually is a right choice right now at the moment. But I don't wanna spoil it too much for people. But I'm gonna go with him. Charge suspect.
Eli Rooney, I'm charging you with the first-degree murder of Deirdre Muller.
You want to put me back in the stir that badly, boy? You go ahead and try. I'll beat that rap. I ain't a killer.
He's not gonna last in jail.
Phelps, Galloway, congratulations are at hand. Drink, boys? I think you'll receive a commendation for this one, gentlemen. In the meantime, I'll speak to the DA about expediting the passage of the case. We need swift and merciless justice for poor Deirdre.
Eli Rooney can expect a warm welcome from Captain Donnelly and the district attorney. Yep. He's not going to last in jail too long. Clues found, 12 out of 12. Can anybody tell me in the comments, does the coroner ever get back to you on telling you whether it was rabbit blood or not that's on the shoe? Because that would pretty much clear the husband. If I find out it's rabbit blood, then I know that Eli did it. But this one, it's just, at the end, it's just tough there trying to, you know, figure out which one of them is the right one. But I think I chose the right thing, that it was Eli there. But anyways, I think that if you choose the husband, I don't think that you can get 5 stars if you choose the husband. I think you can only get a perfect score in the case if you choose Eli. But thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Can anybody tell me the 2 questions that I messed up? What was I supposed to choose for those? Why did I mess those up? But I think I did pretty well in this case. I found all the clues, and you know, I got the majority of the questions right. I analyzed them pretty well. Did a lot of commentary on this one, but we're gonna have another murder case on the next part. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, drop a like, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.